Hello and welcome to India Today. This is so exciting to actually get to people who make the show, make the film, act in it, get to share experiences, hear their experiences, and tell them what we felt when we watched it. I'm sitting here with not the captain of the ship, but captain of the flight. Perhaps two captains in front of me right now.
Captain of the ship.
एक डायरेक्टर साहब है और एक actually captain of the plane है. IC-814, the Kandahar hijack is trending. People are watching it. People are discussing it. It happens usually when something based on a real life is made. I have parents who could sit with me and narrate what they went through when the actual incident happened. Then I have people who are younger to me who were like, अच्छा ऐसे हुआ, फिर ये ऐसे भी हुआ, फिर government ने कुछ क्यों नहीं किया? Like questions that were happening in living rooms or happening in bedrooms or conference rooms. I want to talk to you about your release day rituals. क्या किसी के पास कोई release day ritual है? I remember an actress telling me she puts her phone on airplane mode for first half of the day and then the phone just starts spamming her towards the second half. Do you guys have any release day rituals?
I read reviews. I think I have a affinity for reviews. When I started out, the only people that spoke my name, ever write my name or spoke my name or mentioned my name were the film critics, because the casting directors, the directors, the producers, co-actors, nobody really spoke about me. So it was the only reviewers who wrote good things, and that made so much my life better. So I read. I also I understand, because we make the show, all in. It's always good to hear what these film-educated, film-literate people take from it. And so I read first day, and probably the reviews that we received for IC-814, it was better than anything I've ever experienced. Thursday when it dropped, I was so happy because the response was unanimously thumbs up, which was great.
Anybody else with anything quirky to share? जिस दिन film release होती है, उस दिन आपको क्या phone आते हैं, आप phone करते हैं, आप you're in your own world having your chai and you're like, चलो एक काम हो गया, अब next काम पे जाएंगे.
मैं तो शहरों से बाहर चला जाता हूँ, पहाड़ों वाड़ों में. हाँ कि थोड़ा नहीं, खासतौर से ये जो IC-814, इसमें मतलब ये कि इतना सब लोगों की मेहनत थी, इतना बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट नेटफ्लिक्स का, सो मेरे लिए मुश्किल हो जाता है हैंडल करना और के क्या होगा, एकदम लोग पसंद करेंगे नहीं करेंगे. सो इट्स बेटर कि थोड़ा सा बाहर जाओ. बट फिर भी मैं कहना चाहूँगा कि 29th को रिलीज हुआ, 30th को आई वॉज ट्रैवलिंग फ्रॉम कोयम्बटूर टू मुंबई कमिंग बैक, एंड आई वॉज सरप्राइज्ड कि हम लोग बोर्डिंग के टाइम पे लाइन में लगे हुए थे और मेरे पीछे 2-3 फैमिलीज थी. एंड दे सेड, सर आप भी इस फ्लाइट में हाईजैक हो गया तो फिर नेगोशिएट कौन करेगा? विल नेगोशिएट. आई वाज सरप्राइज्ड कि कल ही तो रिलीज हुआ है.
Such a clever response.
खा गए.
इतना मतलब वो देख लिया,
चाट लिया.
तो उसी मोमेंट पे मुझे लगा चलो अभी जा सकते हैं मुंबई में जाके. अच्छा लोगों का रिस्पांस है. So it was very.
But what a better response to get for an actor than this, right?
Nothing.
I
Nothing
like
better than this.
Negotiate कौन करेगा?
negotiate कौन करेगा?
You know, it's very interesting.
That was a
he
very
mentions
good
this.
response. मतलब
So that means you should not take
You can
flights anymore.
actually gauge the power of the story and the impact of the story by the way people respond to you in public spaces, especially at airports, railway stations, shopping malls. When people are not coming up to you and saying, "Can I have a photograph with you?" but they come up to you and talk to you about something they've watched. That's the best kind of
ये directors की
validation.
tragedy है.
क्यों? आप लोग कहीं दिखते ही नहीं.
नहीं हमको
आप
पहचानते
बाहर नहीं जाते.
मुझे नहीं
आपको
पहचानते.
सर, आप
सब
known face हो
पहचानता है
गए,
सर,
sorry.
प्लीज.
What
आपको
are you
बहुत
saying?
अच्छी तरह से
Everybody knows you,
पहचानता है.
how you look, what
People
you
who
do.
people
हमने
who are
आपको इतना पॉपुलर
people
कर
who are
रखा है अपने
interested in
सोशल
direct-
मीडिया पेजेस
who
पे
are
फोटो
interested in
डाल के.
directors, people only very few people interested in directors. They know. हाँ, actors are
Yeah,
interested.
of course.
So if there is an
And other
actor on the
directors are
flight, then
interested.
I would meet him. But तो हमको ये जो आप लोगों को privilege है कि आप लोग directly अपने audience से बात करते हैं, वो हमको नहीं मिलता है. तो
अभी सोशल मीडिया से मिल जाता है आपको मौका.
हाँ, सोशल मीडिया तो जितना कम पढ़े उतना अच्छा है.
वो भी है, वो भी है. लेकिन प्यार भी मिलता है.
Absolutely. And I think there is something special about movies or plots that happen on an airplane. Like as a kid, every time you look up to a sky, you see an airplane. There could be a romance love story happening on an airplane. There could be a tragedy happening on an airplane. There could be a murder happening on an airplane. But the minute you're confined to four walls and you know that the camera is not, the lens is not going much outside of this, you're invested. Like you're like, okay, this character is only going to go to the washroom and come back. Ab kya karega? I want to speak to you a bit about the fact that you got to sit in a cockpit. Like you only get to see a glance of a cockpit when you're leaving a commercial flight and you're like, so many buttons and, oh, do they really click this and that, right? What was that to sit in that chair and actually see that in real life and know that you're not playing a fictional character?
I was also that kid who was fascinated as to can I go and sit there once, but that never happened. It might happen.
Yeah, you can always learn how to fly. Yeah. I have a friend, Gul Panag, who's an actor.
Oh.
She's a pilot. She learned how to fly now. Like,
Yeah.
You can do it at any time. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Sorry,
as
what
long
was
as
the
you can
question?
see. How did it feel to
like
play
to
a
be
pilot?
that, to tangibly hold those buttons and steer that throttle, that plane, and
It felt like a big responsibility, and also because the gentleman who I am playing did such a heroic act and in a way very didn't really make a big deal out of it. He was like a silent warrior doing his own thing, and Anubhav so wrote it like that. I embodied it like that. But yeah, I think what kept me going was the job, not as an actor, but just me playing the pilot, and the intricate nature of playing a pilot kept me consumed. So if I was lost in कि ये मैं यहाँ पर क्या बोलूँ, क्या करूँ, कैसे करूँ, I just told myself ये job है, ये करना है. And whatever is happening, I'll process it and work along, because this is my main focus, is to take this aircraft in the direction that I wanted to. So that was the only focus.
But Anubhav, it's brilliant for you to be able to put this on paper. Every scene that we are watching, whether it's happening in the plane, whether it's happening in a boardroom, whether it's happening in somebody's house, it's always from a perspective of that character, and you're investing into it. Because for all of these people who are sitting here and all of their tracks and trajectories, they are, I mean, I was heavily interested in every possible scenario, even though sometimes you know what the outcome might be. Talk to me a bit about the writing process in terms of how do you define what's the arc of a character going to be like. For instance, for him, or you do feel empathy for somebody, sometimes you don't feel empathy for somebody. What was your end goal to sketch these characters, and what was your thought process behind it?
You pretty much know the beginning and end of the guy, of the person. And then you, like in Patralekha's character, she had an ailing father who needed medicine at 7 o'clock, and she doesn't know that she will never come back for 7 days. So how do you enhance it? वो अकेले बैठ के सोचती रहेगी तो कैसे पता चलेगा? So Trishant and I planted an ailing man in the aircraft.
Right.
So these are tools that you use to enhance things, and it's a very, very lengthy discussion if you really want me to answer this. But yeah, you figure out right at the beginning that this is where this character will start and this is where it will end, and how can we aid it, and which are the jewels in this track. Those jewels are the scenes or the moments, and you're aware of those moments, and then you build up to it. And it's quite a science. Screenwriting is quite a science.
And also as actors, you get to discover a part of you, perhaps a line that you've never said, something physically that you've never done that you're doing at this point in time, or you've worn a piece of costume or a headpiece that you've never worn. It pushes you, makes you adapt, and you have to camouflage then, right? What's been your learning for IC814? It could be a dialect you've learned. It could be like a scene you did. You were like, nobody's seen me like this or offered me this line ever to say.
Today my son said the sweetest thing. We were passing by the hoarding and he sees, so my mother pointed it out. He says, "Hey, Mama's new show, that's new story. Mama is in it. Look." And he looks at the hoarding and he says, "Mama looks new."
Yeah, clearly, because
And I think it's also, it's such an exciting exploration, no? Playing a new part and a new character, where you get to just immerse yourself into another person. And in this one especially, because Anubhav was so keen to present me totally differently than I've ever been seen before. So the hair is dramatically different than it's ever been. I'm wearing these beautiful spectacles. There is this awkwardness about the way the sari is worn. The sweaters are kind of oversized. It's so unlike any portrayal before visually. And it was so interesting because we had fun putting this character together, and we laughed about all the people we were inspired by in the literary space who we kind of took elements from. And it's when you look apart, it becomes so much easier also to then, let go of yourself and be more of that person. Just completely surrender to that person that you're playing.
But Patralekha, for your character also, it was so interesting that she's not just an air hostess. She's literally put her life at stake. She doesn't know what's going to happen. She's going through a gamut of emotions, but she stayed true to her core at the end of the day. She's not compromised. Most of your characters, if you look at their trajectory, they don't compromise anywhere. They are always put a question in front of them, you go left or you go right. Then they choose what they choose, right, irrespective of the outcome. Did you enjoy that process to be able to feel liberated and free to do this?
Absolutely. I mean, Indrani or Chaya even, both the flight attendants had so much more. It was just not unidimensional, And I feel like just the aircraft in itself, a space does something to you.
Yeah.
For me as an actor, it's very important for me to feel the space. I still remember my first day in Jordan. When I entered, we were going for a look test and sir was already shooting there, and just seeing the hugeness of the flight, it was a giant just standing just between the mountains in Jordan. And I can't forget that glimpse, and everyone is so small and everybody's just like doing what they can do the best. And then we enter inside the flight, which is very claustrophobic. It's a place you can't move much, and there were that many people inside the flight, and the technicians and the cameraman, the light boys and our teams. So I don't know, it just kind of pushed me to a place and space which just helped me to feel a certain way.
Yeah, no, naturally and organically lends
Yeah.
itself to the
Yeah.
performance you need to give.
Pooja, you have anything to share in terms of feeling that space? Because your character, again, is interesting to see how she flip-flops, where she is, where her value system is at. She fights for it. She's not like easy to believe, okay, don't walk over me. I'm going to fight and contest it.
Right. So this opportunity was very exciting for me. Also at the same time, it was nerve-wracking because whatever brief that was given to me by Sir, and I wanted to stay true to how Mrs. Sharan actually was when this was happening, when she was experiencing. This is a real life character, and I wanted to do justice to her, and to keep balance of vulnerability yet strength. I wanted her to embody that right balance. That was my focus, and I think it sort of was tricky to maneuver, but with Anubhav sir at the helm of it, I kind of hopefully managed to do that.
I think I'll speak on everybody's behalf, but these two gentlemen sitting next to me, I mean, come on, can we just sort of give them a big round of applause for the sheer joy that they give us when they are on screen? Absolute joy when you are on
आप लोग की
screen.
तारीफ करो.
मतलब even in IC814, मतलब आप इतने camouflage, आप इतने chameleon type हो कि any character that you get, you absolutely become that. Especially in IC814, it was so interesting to see कि Chief G जो है, वो Chief G का जो G था, वो प्यारा भी था और थोड़ा सा खतरनाक भी था, और वो इतने छोटे सटल न्यूएंसेस आपने कैरेक्टर्स में लाए हैं.
वहाँ पर वो कोई भी जो एक्टर होता है और कोई कैरेक्टर करता है, उसके पीछे बहुत सारे लोगों की मेहनत होती है. वो एक आदमी है जिसने नॉवल लिखा है फ्लाइट टू फियर, फिर उसके बाद अनुभव सर और त्रिशांत चतुर्वेदी, उसने सालों श्रीवास्तव सॉरी उसने सालों काम किया है. फिर इन्होंने 2 साल लगाए उस पर, तो वो एक स्क्रिप्ट है. फिर उसके बाद डायरेक्टर यही है, वो बताते हैं कि ये ऐसा, क्योंकि मेरे को तो एज एन एक्टर नहीं मालूम, ये नई सिचुएशन है और ये एवरीडे सिचुएशन नहीं है कि ऑफिस का है, अच्छा भाई ऐसे होते हैं जो लोग पैसा खाते हैं. ये ऐसी सिचुएशन है जो कि उसके बाद कॉस्ट्यूम और लुक वाले होते हैं, जो फिर उसके हिसाब से जैसे डायरेक्शन होता है उनको लुक उसकी डिसाइड होती है. तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें और बहुत सारी सपोर्ट सिस्टम होता है एक्टर के पास, जिससे वो एक कैरेक्टर तैयार होता है. वो अलग बात है कि एक्टर लोग जो है सारा क्रेडिट ले जाते हैं क्या यार आई डिड दिस, आई वाज डीप इनटू द, मैं तो कमरे में बंद हो गया.
नहीं, बट ये आप थोड़ा सा अपने को कम आंक रहे हैं. एक्टर का जो काम है ना वो मैडनेस है.
नहीं, बस हम लोग एग्जीक्यूट करते हैं उस चीज को, समझना और फिर उसके बाद उसको एग्जीक्यूट करना. वो नहीं कह रहा हूँ हमारा
अच्छा
फिर हम
एक्टर
समझते हैं बहुत सारी चीजों
लुक
को.
19-20 हो तो उसको कोई फर्क, अच्छे एक्टर को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, वो
अच्छा,
कर देता है.
तो सब मिला के हो जाता है.
नहीं, पर वो जो आपने बात की नेगोशिएशन की, वो आप ही कर सकते हैं.
चाय वाय भिजवा दें.
क्या करेंगे $200 मिलियन का.
हाँ.
मतलब हमारी आंखें, we couldn't take our eyes and ears off when he was in the frame for a lot of correct reasons. मतलब वो कैरेक्टर ही आपने इतना दिलचस्प बना दिया था कि नर्वस टेंशन माहौल चल रहा है, there's a tense scene going on and then you pop up somewhere in the screen and we are like, Amna, what is he going to add to this? What does he have to say? Because he also contributes a lot to what is happening.
He's
He's a very important
interesting
player, like everybody in that frame is. Kumar
and
sir,
this Kaku also.
yes, absolutely. Kumar sir,
Maharati.
वो जब कैमरा ऑन होता है, यू बिकम अ कैरेक्टर, यू आर कंप्लीटली डायरेक्टर्स बेबी, यू हैव टू फॉलो क्यू, राइट. कैमरा ऑफ हो जाता है और ये एज एन एक्टर आप हर फिल्म में करते हो, यू स्विच ऑन स्विच ऑफ. आई डोंट नो इफ दैट्स द राइट टर्म, समटाइम्स एक्टर्स डोंट लाइक दैट टर्म. But what has been your most joyous memory or process or enjoyable experience of IC814? As an actor, what have you relished taking back?
एक फोटो है मेरे पास.
क्या 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 बोला आपने?
डेड सी.
Did you float and get to have the song?
हाँ, जो जिन जनता में जिन लोगों को पता नहीं हो, डेड सी एक समंदर है जिसको डेड सी बोलते हैं. उसमें बहुत सारा नमक है, तो उसमें कुछ भी चीज का फ्लोट करना आसान होता है. बहुत नमक है, अगर पानी मुंह में चला जाए तो मतलब बर्दाश्त नहीं होता है. मैं तो पहुंचा नहीं कभी. कुमुद मिश्रा जी, मनोज पावा जी और दिव्येंदु भट्टाचार्य जी.
क्या जब आपका डायरेक्टर.
नहीं सर, मेरी बात खत्म नहीं हुई. इन तीनों की एक फोटो है मेरे पास.
You must put that out.
तो वो फोटो अगर मैं
आज लगा दो.
वो ऐसा लगता है कि कढ़ाई में 3 पूरियां तली जा रही हैं. ये तीनों उसमें लेटे हुए हैं और ये फ्लोट कर रहे हैं. ऐसे सिर्फ कढ़ाई का क्लोजअप लो तो लगेगा कि 3 पूरियां तली जा रही हैं.
कुमुद सर, आपको कुछ कहना है?
कुछ नहीं, वो हथेली है, वो डेड सी हथेली हमारे डायरेक्टर की,
वो बहुत
और
जल्दी
हम उस पर
Instagram
तैर
पे
रहे
आएगी.
हैं.
नाइस नाइस.
पूरा शो वही है. वो डेड सी में हम 3 लोग अभिनेता तैर रहे हैं. डूबने की कोशिश करें तो भी डूब नहीं
ये कोई
सकते.
अलग शो का सिनॉप्सिस लग रहा
तो
है.
ये अद्भुत
No,
है.
but it's true. It's
अद्भुत है.
true. Such a nice analogy.
Yeah.
या सो आपका काम बहुत आसान हो जाता है जब आपके पास इतनी अच्छी स्क्रिप्ट हो, को एक्टर्स हो, डायरेक्टर हो और बाकी जो इन्होंने कहा है, तो आपका काम तो बहुत आसान हो जाता है.
I think that art of surrendering is such a joyous experience to have, and there is that I have to just jump now and just let go, and when the camera starts, I'm just at the behest of the captain of the ship. I think that experience everybody in the frame, everybody on set, everybody in this series must have felt, because there are so many characters.
Everyone is so real.
It doesn't feel like you're watching a series, it feels like you're watching something real. Now, when something of this sort is made, Anubhav, and you've always been at the forefront of not shying away from touching on real life issues, real life topics, characters and human beings who exist. We all have these emotions, right? There are a couple of points that the audience is making in terms of this particular film, and I'm going to ask you. One is a very tricky question, that how does Vijay Varma not develop a stubble despite being in the cockpit for 7 days? So इसका राज क्या है?
तो
कि
real life में भी नहीं
Because
होता
विजय
है.
वर्मा को दाढ़ी नहीं आती है ज़्यादा, इतनी सी आती है. That's the real answer, because we wanted to
He does.
keep it authentic to.
He does. कुछ बातें तो क्या होता है ना कि कुछ बातें होती हैं जिसकी जो होती हैं तो उनको गले लगा लेना चाहिए और क्या, और कुछ बातें होती हैं जिनको गले नहीं लगाना चाहिए.
चिपका सकते थे क्या जबरदस्ती का?
नकली हमने बहुत कुछ ट्राई किया था. तो आप देखेंगे तो मेकअप और हेयर डिपार्टमेंट का काम बहुत मुश्किल था कि 7 दिन में आदमी की शक्ल बदलती है, लेकिन इससे ड्रामेटिकली नहीं बदल जाती है, फिर भी बदलती है. तो वो 7 दिन का हिसाब रखना, और ऐसा नहीं है कि आज डे 1 शूट कर रहे हैं कल डे 2 शूट कर रहे हैं. हम अचानक बीच में यार वो छोटा वाला सीन वो जब 5वें दिन का है वो पहले कर लेते हैं, तो अचानक वो मेरे एक्टर गायब हो जाते थे और वो थोड़ी देर में लौटते थे. तो वो डे 5 पे हेयर एंड मेकअप डिपार्टमेंट ने उनको पहुंचाया होता था. तो ये चल रहा था लगातार. तो जाहिर है अगर वो सारे किरदारों के साथ हुआ तो विजय के साथ भी हुआ, और विजय उन एक्टरों में से नहीं है कि जो बोले कि नहीं मैं दाढ़ी नहीं बढ़ाऊंगा. तो वो हमने मान लिया कि एक कैरेक्टर ऐसा है जिसकी दाढ़ी ज़्यादा तेज़ नहीं बढ़ती है. हालांकि कैप्टन जो थे उनकी दाढ़ी काफ़ी बड़ी थी, पर इस फिल्म में इस सीरीज़ में हमने वो चेहरे मिलाने की या वो कोशिश ही नहीं की. हम उस मतलब उससे एक ये बात भी निखर के आती रहती है सामने के अंततः ये ड्रामेटाइजेशन है ऑफ एन इवेंट दैट हैपेंड. हम कोई हिस्ट्री का लेसन नहीं लिख रहे हैं.
डॉक्यूमेंट्री.
For
It's
me,
not a
it's
documentary.
interesting because I've been a part of a film like Sanju, where so much effort and work was put into making everybody look lifelike,
As close as
as close to the real people that we were all representing. And what was novel and so interesting about this series is that no such effort was made. You just wanted to be authentic to the emotion. And I think that is what is most important.
Like I didn't get any reference of how young Captain Devisha
Looked, yeah.
We never went down that path.
Any character, even the characters they are playing, anybody.
There were no like references for.
So this is very interesting because the amount of effort and the amount of research your team has gone through for the 5-6 years, and I'm guessing more so, is interesting. How do you react to the fact that people are also saying that if we could hear the code names of terrorists in the series, why could we not then have real names of the ministers and politicians who played these names? And then if we could hear Bhola, Shankar, Burger, Chief, then why could not there be a disclaimer giving us real identities and names of who these terrorists are? It's a conversation that's going on social media.
Do you subscribe to it? Do you subscribe to it?
I feel that there is no harm in having a disclaimer. A lot of documentaries and films have a disclaimer which say that while this is based on an incident.
This is a disclaimer.
But where does the disclaimer come? Does it come towards the end?
At the beginning of the show.
You should know.
At the
Because
very
when
beginning.
the scenes pop up, when you have these
There
names
you
pop
mean.
up. Yeah, at that point in time is what a lot of people who have watched it and loved the series are suggesting.
I will
that should there not
respond to
be.
I will respond to things that are your views on those views. So if you tell me your views on those views, I'm happy to give you an answer. Because I cannot be talking to a ghost who doesn't have
No,
a
my
name.
view is that because see, we are invested in that particular scene. The first time when we get to meet the terrorists,
Yeah.
they're also speaking over the phones. We are getting to hear a lot of names. Then when they're addressed as Burger, when they're addressed as Chief, when they're addressed as a lot of other names, at that point in time, could there have been a small patti or a disclaimer giving us the real identity of who these people are? Because it's a real life.
I think you should get into making movies. You have got better ideas.
Okay, fair enough. That is absolutely take your point of view because that is your point of view and this is my point of view. Towards the end of the series, there is that scene where we get to hear that there's a party that Osama has thrown and ISI is not a part of it. A lot of people are also feeling that ISI perhaps could have been...
I would like to talk to those people directly and not through you.
Okay. I'm only giving you perspectives, the
No,
good
of
perspectives
course.
and reactions
Of
that people
course,
are
I
giving.
have
There are a lot of reactions here where people have also given a lot
I
of
would
feedback.
love to respond to you, Tushar,
Haan.
and not to somebody who's not in the room.
Yeah,
which
so
is
as
probably
somebody who has watched the series,
Yeah.
I also was a little curious to know because I watched
To know what?
Ajit Doval's conversations just because I finished watching IC814.
Huh.
I went back to YouTube. I love watching documentaries. I watch a lot of Super Size
So do
Me.
I really.
Absolutely, and I think it's great what you've done. I enjoyed the series. There's no two
Thank
minds
you.
about
Thank you.
that.
Thank you.
But I'm trying to ask you that I felt that perhaps the ISI's role in this, where Ajit Doval has specifically said multiple times कि भाई पाकिस्तान से phones आ रहे थे, ISI was involved. When that line comes कि ओसामा की पार्टी में ISI नहीं था, I felt that they were given a clean chit in that particular scene.
This
And
really
it could
happened.
It happened, is what you're saying. Okay.
So you have to understand that you are saying,
As a filmmaker, how do you?
you're
That's what I'm trying to
you're
understand. How does one balance?
You're saying yourself, so much as research has
Yeah.
gone into it.
Yes.
Respect that research. There is very serious amount of research, and end of the day, it's the dramatic narration of an event.
Right.
Okay. I'm not writing history. So tomorrow, if somebody has to refer to the Kandahar hijack, you won't refer to this series. You will refer to documents and you will refer to other news, other source material. You don't
Actual
refer to
stuff.
films for historical references, because the films get away with just a disclaimer saying, all the characters are fictitious and that age-old disclaimer. So yes, it is. There is a whole lot of things in the series that go around facts because there are no facts available.
Right.
So you dramatize it to put it together. So don't take it so seriously.
No, but what I mean is being questioned is completely verifiable.
Yes, because I mean, I absolutely did this out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Because if you watch
No, but
a movie
ISI,
based on 9/11,
whatever happened in
Right.
Kathmandu was done by ISI. Fact. Series says that. The first super that comes on the face of the guy says, you see that guy taking arms and ammunition into the airport. So how does ISI get a clean sheet?
This is just somebody who has decided to say that.
no, I absolutely get the fact that what he's saying is right to an extent, that he's not making a documentary, he's not giving
but
a...
Nobody
he's not-
hasn't given
That's why I
anybody
wasn't
a clean
responding.
check.
No, because
Yeah.
it's not your view. That ISI is given a clean sheet is not your view. Because I can respond to the entire first.
No, I'm talking about the last scene in particular, Anubhav. I'm not talking about the fact that you have given them a complete clean sheet. I'm just saying when you wrap up a series, or in the last episode, I just felt that while you're ending it or going to switch off the TV, you're going to sit with it.
Do you have this view that ISI had nothing to do with it? After seeing the
ISI
series?
was absolutely
after
involved.
seeing the series.
I do feel that the last scene is what I'm coming back to again. Just that line where he says, "Ki ISI party mein
maybe
nahi
if
thi."
you make the film, you will make it differently. But I think as a filmmaker, that I told you in the beginning, ISI is complicit.
And shown right through.
No shying.
No,
Why
and
should...
as a filmmaker, I agree completely. I'm with you that you are the captain of the ship. You will decide the tonality that you want to take. You will decide the things that you want to show.
And why would one give a free what shit is called, clean sheet to anybody? Why?
Like in the middle of the negotiation, Manoj sir's character also brings up the name. He says, "Ki Chief Ji,
Yeah,
bahut ho
that's
gaya."
what I said. The names
Ibrahim,
are taken
batao kya hua?
multiple times in the series.
So,
Yeah.
Then why are you asking me this?
so naam bola gaya hai.
No, the question was not that, Anubhav. But I think there is no denial that IC814, the Kandahar hijack, has got people to discuss it. It has got
And it's
people to
also
watch.
possibly one of the most well-researched shows. While we have the disclaimer
That is true,
says
but
it's
I'm also
inspired
guessing
by
absolutely,
true
I'm with you
event.
on that. That's what I told him. I gave that compliment right at the onset, that if there is a series that has been made in recent times, even the clips, the real clips that we get to see, which are interspersed between the frames, it gives you that sense of realism when you see that body lying with blood stained over it. It's not a figment of anybody's imagination. It's something that we've all lived through. So there will be people who will react to something that they've experienced. Maybe their families have, some generations have. So these are conversations that are happening on social media.
Yeah, but when I sit down with a senior journalist like yourself, I would love to just respond to your opinions.
Fair enough, absolutely. I mean, this is all coming from me. These are notes that I have taken after multiple watchings of the series. I totally respect your point of view and I completely respect where you're coming from and what you're saying. Having said that, we can't take away the fact that IC814 has opened a lot of conversations. It is very real. It is very true to depiction. Like, for example, it is also, I mean, that whole point where they're saying that the terrorists sometimes are humanized. The hijackers were humanized when there was an Antakshari scene is something that a lot of people are also discussing. So I'm giving you certain examples which people are reacting to. They're also reacting to the way the captain eventually, or every possible person in the plane, has played that character and made you feel like you're sitting in that plane. You feel claustrophobic when you're actually watching the show. You get up and then you're like, damn, I haven't seen something like this in a very long time. So I'm giving you both sides of how people are responding and reacting to. Yeah, so which is why these questions were asked. Anything that anybody wants to add in terms of your last day on set, the memory that you took back home, because it's a show that people are going to watch. And like I said, after this gets out, perhaps more people will watch it, perhaps more debates will happen, perhaps more conversations Anubhav will like to have with his own, with people that he wants to have the conversations with. Any last parting thoughts from you guys?
Patra, who's been so kind and patient and quiet.
I don't know. All I remember is that the space really got to me after a point. And I remember while we were shooting, it was during the rains, and just getting to the set was so tough, and we all were unwell. I mean, most of us had like some 100, 101 degree fever. Anubhav sir was shooting with 102 fever, and there were so many junior artists who we all were unwell, but we were just working towards one goal. And I feel like after hearing everyone's discussions and conversations and the love that the show is getting, I feel it was worth it. Also, I want to tell you that I saw Sir through the writing of the show. I don't know how many of you guys actually, I was a witness to that. And he actually shrunk. You know, his body had shrunk, and because he was just researching and working. And I guess that period lasted for 6 months. Cut to I go to Jordan, and like I said, that huge plane, and Sir being there, he was a different beast. You know, like Vijay was in the belly, and just climbing to the belly was like couple of steps. Couple means 10-12 आराम से होंगे. After every take, and as actors sometimes, you know, the weather, everything gets to you. He was just going up and down, up and down, up and down. And I was like, this man is so passionate about what he does. And I guess that passion only it's been seen on screen. And that's why I feel like IC814 has really blown up.
It's a privilege as an artist to be a part of his storytelling. I'm proud of the emotional calls that he takes. I think that's what makes his storytelling so powerful and relevant. And I think my most fun or like special memory working with Anubhav is laughing a lot. Even though you're doing very intense work, just feeling safe, feeling respected, and having a great time while you're working.
Food is a very important part of
too.
this process.
Khao piyo
So if
khush raho.
that, one thing I'd really take back is like eating, and eating like great food on the set. कि आज लंच में मटन आया तो शाम को क्या आ रहा है? अच्छा डिनर पे क्या आ रहा है?
Did you get like local delicacies because you were in Jordan?
Yeah, of course.
You get to relish.
I mean, you were with him.
Yeah. No, he's a foodie. I mean,
ये दोनों तो बहुत चुप बैठे हैं. बताओ क्या है आपका फेवरेट मेमोरी लास्ट पार्टिंग
वो उस एक कमरे में जिसमें
सब थे.
पंकज सर हैं, नसीर सर हैं, आदित्य हैं, कमलजीत हैं,
वो तो मैं भी नहीं
अरविंद
भूलूंगी.
स्वामी हैं,
सुशांत
मनोज भाई हैं,
ये flex
सुशांत हैं.
ये फ्लेक्स है.
वो
आदित्य.
वो बहुत अद्भुत समय था मेरे लिए. वो कुछ दिन जब इन सब के साथ काम करते हुए देखना और सीखना, वो दोनों चीज़ें साथ चल रही थी.
Also, as an audience, when I was watching the show and the camera goes to the CMG, and I just didn't know where to concentrate. You know, it was just too much for me to see.
it was goosebumps
Yeah.
when you see Pankaj sir and Nasir sir. I saw a roundtable with Vijay just sitting like a fanboy, like all of us. When you have Pankaj sir and
I
Nasir,
can't tell you, Tushar.
My God.
I don't get tongue-tied easily.
you were absolutely
I
tongue-tied.
don't. But I just froze, and I think Anubhav sir saw it and he tried to help me out in the conversation, trying to finish my sentences. But it was, something struck me just looking at them, because
You were all of
Guys
us.
are,
It's magic.
It happens to all of us.
yeah, they are cinema gods, and suddenly you realize कि boss तुम किसके सामने बैठे हो? कौन है ये? इनके एक इशारे पे लोग रो पड़ते हैं, हंस पड़ते हैं, दुनिया आगे चलती है, रुक जाता है, समय रुक जाता है. इनके एक इशारे से आप कुछ फील करने लग जाते हो. ये बहुत पावरफुल एक्टर्स हैं. तो मैं तो मिलने वाले हैं अभी. So I think I take away this. I just feel like I would have a great career, but without the presence of these two figures, I mean, I miss my opportunity of working with Irfan, and I will regret that. I'll carry the pain of it, but just to see these two gentlemen in a room together, and he's fortunate enough to, I will, you deserve every bit of it, but it's still great fortune that you managed to
it's serendipity.
accumulate.
It's
How?
unreal.
It has to be a divine intervention of sort or something else.
He's
to be-
extremely capable and extremely deserving of everything, and
But-
it's not easy that everybody shows up for you.
Also,
It's
sometimes-
only when you are somebody that who knows what they're doing, and also as a great person to work with, that actors just pick up and they say, "हाँ मैं कर रहा हूँ." And for a role, nobody has standout role. Everybody is contributing. You know, they just show up, and we show up because there is a man who can make it happen for you, who is extremely, integrity is so solid.
That's the word.
His integrity is solid,
How true he was to his vision from the first frame till the end.
and with this, I think he also pushed in terms of certain kind of aesthetics, which we don't get to see on Indian screens. It looks like an international show, according to me.
I think as audience, there is nothing more for us to relish and rejoice is the fact that we get something that we keep our phones away, we shut our laptops and we start discussing, calling friends saying, get onto this series right now. So thank you, Anubhav, for making, for this.
There's one small little token that people should acknowledge is the series is not trying to be history. I had the rights to use the captain's name, but I didn't. I changed even his name. Because the series is not saying I'm history. Series saying something like this happened, I am based on that. No, there are no, except for the captain's name, there are no rhyming names, there are no appearances that are imitated, nothing. It's a fresh take on what happened. And you know, when a conspiracy of this kind is executed, there's a lot of things that never have clear answers. There are versions. And you subscribe to some, you subscribe to don't. But you know, the scholarly research is not something this series is meant for. There are other materials that you can refer to if you want to do a scholarly research. It's an entertainment material based on a real life event. Don't take it to your heart.
IC814, you will take it to your heart when you watch it because it's a series that you can't miss. It's an ensemble of actors that have never been put together before. It's a feat, I think, for a director to be able to do it. And we need to treasure actors when we have them and we need to relish them when they're around. Absolutely believe in that. Thank you, all of you guys, for giving us IC814. It was an absolute incredible journey to sit and watch it, to discuss, debate, to get everybody sit around a dinner table and talk. Like parents saying, nahi, aise hua tha. Kids saying, are but tabhi mobile nahi tha kya? As basic things that I think that's what movies and series and cinema does to us. So thank you for IC814. This was a lovely
Lovely
conversation.
talking.
Thank you.